Welcome everyone to another episode of Where Medicine Meets Ministry. Dr. Cherie talks faith and facts. My goodness, my guest today, wow, Ricki Fairley. This woman is an 8-year stage 3A survivor and thriver of triple negative breast cancer. She is truly spearheading a movement to address Black breast cancer as a disease that warrants special attention and focus by Pharma. Ricki's personal purpose, passion, mission, ministry, and blessing is to raise awareness, fundraise for a cure for breast cancer, and support and coach what she calls her Breastie sisters. Yes, you heard me right. Breastie sisters through their breast cancer experience. Now I'm telling you, when a person can take a medical diagnosis like stage 3A triple negative breast cancer and turn it into a mission to support and coach others through their breast cancer experience, she clearly has discovered how medicine meets ministry. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ricki Fairley. Hey, Ricki.
I'm so glad to see you. Here's a hug.
Oh, hugs, 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 hugs. How you been?
I am great. We've had beautiful weather. We had a great weekend. I've been in the water. I'm a water baby. This is my season. So I've been paddleboarding and swimming and at the beach. Luckily, I live at the beach, so we have I can go to the beach. It's not like a community beach, so I can social distance and
exactly.
So I'm so blessed to live where I live, because it's such a hard time.
That is so wonderful. And tell the audience, where are you? Where are we coming from?
I live in Annapolis, Maryland on the Chesapeake Bay. And I grew up here. I grew up in this area. So it's kind of being home. I moved back home after I had breast cancer.
Ah, yeah. And then stayed home.
Yeah. And I so appreciate, where I live because this is where I grew up. So it's very peaceful and lovely.
Exactly. Oh my God. And you and I both know how going through a test and trial like breast cancer, how important it is to have family and friends that are supportive. Because you and I both know that even with family and friends that we felt could handle that journey with us, there were some that just could not handle the journey. They were not equipped. So we had to kind of reorganize our circle, if you will, and kind of let some people go more to the outer perimeter and bring some other unexpected people we weren't really even looking to come to that inner circle. But it turned out all right.
It's true. The club isn't one you want to be in, but Breastie love, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
And I had so much help. My girlfriends from my whole life came to take care of me. And they all, took, and they would never ask me if I needed help because they knew I would say no.
They just did
it. But they just showed up and someone was in my house for a year. So on Sunday, somebody would come and somebody would leave. We never talked about it. They never talked about it. They just showed up.
Oh.
So I started a club of them called SMAD, Sisters Making a Difference. And now we just hang out, and now we have a prayer call every Sunday night and we talk each other off the ledge or whatever's going on and pray for each other. And it's continued, so now, and since then, one lost her husband, one had a kidney transplant. So they've had other health issues to deal with. And so we've all sort of been a little unit to support them.
Wow, sisters making a difference.
And many of them didn't know each other because some of them were my friends from childhood, some from college, some from working, some from where I live. So they just all came together and now they're all besties, So I have them and then I have my Breastie network. And so now they've sort of intermingled a little bit, but my Breasties are my,
Yes.
My loves that I, you have a friendship with them that's undying and unconditional love,
Correct. And see, just hearing that description really just goes to show you those special moments that are really the premise of why I started this podcast, because you had something that was tragic, that was overwhelming, that was heart-wrenching, that was potentially life-threatening.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Right. And now God has brought you through that, but in the midst of that, there was ministry going on. You were ministering to one another. You were praying with one another. And now that has continued. Even though you continue with your battle, that initial onslaught of treatment and decisions to make and all of that is settled in your life somewhat. But that ministry has persisted. And that's what I want to share with individuals, how you can take something that's rocks your world, knocks you off your feet.
Right.
But how do you turn that mess? How do you turn that misery into a mission and a ministry? Because it is possible. God is really interested in changing you more so than he is your circumstances. He can handle circumstances.
Right.
It's nothing
Right.
for him.
That happens all the time, right?
But changing your heart and your mind to get geared and look outside of you, because that's a lot of selfless activity that was going on. To be able to look outside of you, he's able to come in and heal your infirmities because you're focusing elsewhere on other individuals. And now that circle just continues to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, Dr. Sri? One of my good friends from, our mothers were friends from junior high school. So I've known her since birth. And she's one of my prayer warriors. But when I called her one day at 4 a.m, after chemo, not feeling great. And I said, Yvette, I don't know what to pray for. And she never cursed. She said, pray for healing, damn it. She never cursed. But you know what? I can't pray for healing. It doesn't feel right in my spirit to pray for healing. I need to pray for what God has for me.
Yes.
I need to pray for whatever happens is because God ordained it. Yes. I need to pray for me living through God's plan for me. And I don't know what it is. At that point, I didn't know what it was.
Correct.
But I knew that I had to relinquish my faith. And I had to jump off that cliff and say, okay, God, whatever is going on here, you know. I don't know, and I know you got me. And you know what I have to deal with? I got a kid in college. I got stuff to do. You know, I'm still 55, but you know what I'm dealing with. But I got to go with whatever you have.
Correct.
And that's what I did. You know,
that's what you did.
And when I did that, I felt a different spirit about it. That was probably about my third chemo, right? But I felt a different conviction about it because I just gave it to God.
You gave it to God. That trusting, when it's something about when you give it to him. You know, faith without works is dead. So your faith, your works, you know, you had faith. Your works was going to chemo. That's your works, right? But when you prayed and turned your cares over to him, you left it at the altar and you trusted. That's when peace came in. That's when peace settled. Yeah.
I had total peace. And I had to learn that my peace is non-negotiable.
Okay. So now I got to get into some serious questions. Because you had stage 3A triple negative breast cancer. Now I want you to explain, why should African American women know specifically about triple negative breast cancer?
Okay. Yeah. So triple negative breast cancer has the highest mortality rate. It's the most aggressive, and it affects Black women at 2.3 times the rate, the data that we have. So Black women are getting it. It's very associated with the gene, the breast cancer gene. I don't have the gene, so not always.
Correct.
I don't know. So we don't really know. We don't have a lot of data about it because the mortality rate is so high that there hasn't been a lot of research done. And even when I was sick, I remember thinking, why doesn't anyone know about this breast cancer? And why is it so different? It's because it's Black people that get it, you know? And so, you know, that was the Pharma. But a lot of work has been done even since I was sick. And now we have some really good drugs for metastatic triple negative, which you don't want to get.
Right? No.
So, but it's the only breast cancer that does not have a drug to prevent recurrence. And so, and it's basically based on 3 receptors, and Google the science because I don't even want to go there. You're the doctor, you can explain it, but it's really, you know, it's the way your body receives treatment, and we don't have a treatment that works for prevention. And so it comes back with a vengeance very aggressively, and it usually kills us. And so I'm very blessed to be here. And actually, so I had stage 3A. I did a mastectomy, 6 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation. A year to the day later, I had 5 spots on my chest wall. Couldn't figure out what it was.
Yes.
They told me I was metastatic. Doctor says, get your affairs in order. You have 2 years to live. I said, no, you don't understand. I have a daughter that's at Dartmouth. I have to pay tuition. I have stuff to do. I can't really go right now.
I can't die right now. I'm sorry. It's not in the plans. It's not working out for me.
Exactly. And she had really only had 2 cases of triple negative before me, and both of the women died after 9 months. So she didn't really know what she was talking about. So we ended up I got her to go with me to a specialist at Emory, and we figured it out. But I went back on chemo, and then it was gone. So I don't really know whether I was metastatic or not. We don't know what the 5 spots were, but I did more chemo, and we went in to do surgery to put in my implants, and it was gone.
And it
So
was
God
gone.
intervened. God intervened.
So what can African American women do to arm themselves with the knowledge about triple negative breast cancer? Because we talk a lot about knowing your body,
Right.
making sure you do, you're testing yourself, still doing, self-rex exams. I know they don't like to use that term. I love to
Right.
use this
I
still
do
because
too.
you have to know
Gotta check
yourself, and there
yourself.
is a technique. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to check yourself.
Yeah.
And so in addition to that, and getting mammograms and understanding the screening process and things of that nature, we talk about that, but what can Black women do, especially dying at that higher rate and
Right.
the incidence rate being so high in us? What can Black women do to specifically arm themselves with the knowledge about triple negative breast cancer? Is there a place where they can go?
Yeah.
Is there
Well,
questions they should ask their doctors? What do you think?
I call it knowing her story.
Ah,
Her story. Sitting
knowing
down
her story.
with your mamas and your aunties and your grandmom and whoever you got, all the women in your family, because a lot, I see what happens, nobody talks about it till somebody gets sick, right?
Yes.
Well, Grandma Edith had that, or Aunt she had that, or Mama Pookie had that. So sit down and talk to them. And when I do it at Thanksgiving. I make
everybody's together.
Yeah, everybody's together.
We're giving thanks.
I'm the cook giving thanks. So you know how you stand up to pray, right? So as you go around the room saying, okay, what are you thankful for this year before grace, when everybody's hungry, the food's steaming over there and they want to eat. I say, okay, what's your health issue? What's your health issue? What's your A1C? What's your blood pressure? What are you doing? What's going on? Who had this? And I try to put it on the table and make everybody talk about it. And just health in general, but specifically about cancer, because we don't know. And I mean, and even though it's been in the family, it probably wasn't really talked about. We're looking how to hide it because we're trying to take care of everybody. We don't want anybody to know anything. But when you start to unfold all the stuff, and you have everybody in the same room, oh yeah, remember when so-and-so happened, and when this happened, and this one talked about, and you sort of get them get them together, then you can get it. It all comes out.
Correct.
And then I go back and follow up with them. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so what was the deal? And I try to get all the details, but knowing her story, because then if there is a history. Now, clearly, most breast cancer is not hereditary.
Correct.
It could be something else. It could be prostate cancer. It could be colon cancer. Whatever it is, you need to figure it out and put it on the table. And then really just there's a lot of information on the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation website. It's TNBC foundation.org. Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation. I sit on that board, and I've sat on it since I was sick, really, but they are the gurus, and we've gone out of our way to make it a home for women with triple negative, and we have great discussion groups on the site. You can talk to people, but a lot of the best information about triple negative is there. We work really hard to make that a good place for people. And read it before you're sick. Know about it, and there's nothing really you can do to prevent breast cancer.
Correct.
Can early detect it, and that's our best protection. So what you said earlier about checking your breasts, and if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ricki Dub, I'll remind you every month. I tweet about it on the 20th of every month, but it's so important to do that. And I think also we need to teach our girls when they're young about breast health.
So important.
So important. And I'm to me, puberty is the right time when they start getting their body. And a lot of doctors will say, don't check your breast too early because your tissue changed. I said, I don't really care. Your tissue may change, so grow with it.
There you go.
And change with it. I made everybody feel my tumor when
the mass. Absolutely.
I made everybody feel this is what it feels like. So know what your breasts feel like. Start young. Teach your babies. Teach your young women what to do and how to do it. And make them aware of it, that it's okay to talk about and feel yourself and stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself. And so you really know what your normal is if something were to happen. And then also stand up for yourself, because a lot of times young women, Black women under 35 are getting breast cancer at twice the rate and dying at 3 times the rate.
It's crazy.
It's unseen. And we don't even have numbers about triple negative. Probably triple negative is a big contributor there because young Black women are getting it in really huge numbers. But I wish we had the data for that. But you have to go and really check yourself and know yourself at a young age. We can't wait till we're 40 to get a mammogram.
No, we cannot.
Also, a lot of times we'll go to the doctor, we'll present with a lump, and you're 30, and the doctor says, oh, you know what? You're too young. you don't need a mammogram. You know, your insurance probably isn't going to cover it anyway. Come back in 6 months and we'll talk. See how you're doing. 6 months later, they got full-blown metastatic triple negative. Not a good thing.
Correct.
So
And
no, just
you
stand up.
have to know and advocate for yourself.
Advocate for
It
yourself.
really puzzles me how in the healthcare environment that we're in now, and with primary care doctors, breast surgeons, oncologists, physicians in general, seeing such a large number of individuals being diagnosed at young ages, it just boggles my mind that we have to work through this red tape and all of this rigmarole with insurance and pushback, and even as the patient pushing back with your doctor saying, okay, no, I really want to get a mammogram. No, I would like to have a diagnostic ultrasound. No, I know that this is not normal. I want to get it checked out. I don't care if my health insurance is not going to pay it. I'm going to deal with my health insurance. Right now, I just need you to write the order. Why is it that we have to fuss and push and press when they see? It's not as if they are blind to the incident rates that we are experiencing. So based upon that, change your model. It's not times as usual. We got to flip it.
Right. And a lot of young women too, you know, they're going to community hospitals, they're going to clinics, they're going to whatever, you know, because they don't maybe have insurance or the coverage and stuff. So those doctors just don't have time. Either they're not taking the time with you, they're in there for 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, you good? See you bye. You know, come back to you. Right. So you have to fight for yourself. And and you know, we know our bodies. And if you have been checking your breast, you know when something's not right. And you just go get another doctor. There's plenty of them out there. You know, go to another doctor. Call me. I'll find you one.
Hello. Me too.
We'll find you one. We'll find you one. Because you don't have to take it. We have some great doctors. And we have some really, really great Black doctors that I work with a lot. You know, Dr. Mo and like Dr. Regina. And, you know, and I call them all the time, all hours of the night. I need a doc.
Correct.
And so for somebody in Baltimore, get me something, you know, and they're very responsive because you have to build that network too. And know you
really do. Now tell me, what is the Black Breast Cancer Alliance?
So I just started a foundation, like in the last couple of weeks. It's called TOUCH, TOUCH, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. And I know we have a lot of breast cancer organizations out there, but I felt that there was a need to specifically address Black breast cancer. It is a different disease. No other disease has people dying at a 42% higher rate than white people. No other disease has young people dying the way we're dying. No other disease, you know, 60% of Black women are 60% more likely to get metastatic disease, first off. That's crazy. Crazy. So I have 2 precious grandbabies, Belle and Leia, 1 and 3, and I do not want them to ever speak these words. And so I feel the need for everybody collectively to address Black breast cancer. So why I called it an alliance is because I'm trying to create an army of allies. So across patients, survivors, or breast cancer organizations, other cancer organizations, physicians and pharmaceutical companies, everybody who has some stake in this fight. And they all do. Everybody, to a degree, like all the breast cancer organizations are trying to, you know, on the Komen page, there's a little Black page. On breast cancer, there's a little Black page, and we have, you know, a couple of Black things happening. But I want people who are committed to this fight to be an ally in my umbrella, under my umbrella, to help bring resources to our disease, whether it's research, it's, you know, resources, it's information, whatever it is. So imagine I have this big house with many rooms, okay? And when you come to my front door, you knock on the door and you're either sick, you have a problem, you need a support group, you need a hug, you need a Breastie hug, you need whatever. And you walk into my house and you find the room that works for you, all focused on Black breast cancer, whether it's support groups, whether it's a support group, whether it's a, you know, just a hug. But in my house, I have all the things you need to deal with Black breast cancer. And then when you go out, you're better. So that's my house.
Ricki, okay, medicine meets ministry moments. Oh my goodness, that is so powerful. And I'm honored and happy to be a part of that alliance. You know, the Live Today Foundation, Dr. Cherie Prentice, in and of herself.
We're
on board.
You're on the webpage. We're literally building the website as we speak. And and I got to tell you this story. So one of my Breastie friends from North Carolina called me one day and she said, God gave me a gift to give you today. And she knew I was kind of thinking about this, and I was kind of wrestling with, because it's so hard to start a foundation to get 501c3 status and really be able to do the work. And she said, well, so 10 years ago, I had a Breastie friend who wanted to start a foundation to give free massages to breast cancer patients. She was a masseuse. So I set it up for her. I set up the foundation. I did all the stuff. I chaired her board. And a year later, she died. But God told me back then not to do anything with the foundation, to keep it. So for 10 years, I've done the taxes, I've done all the information, all the paperwork to keep it. And a couple of weeks ago, my pastor said, I know you have a foundation and it has a higher purpose now. You need to find it. And she called me and said, I have this gift for you.
What?
So what would have taken, that's why the name Touch, because it was called Touch. And Touch, the Black Breast Cancer Alliance. So it would have taken me 2 years to get where I am today because of my Breastie Valerie. So God is good.
God is so good.
God is working that. And God is talking a lot. He's talking now to the whole world. But he's talking to me. And I know this is my purpose and we're going to get this done.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and I'm a part of it. I am super excited. I mean, guys, you're just those that are listening to this podcast, I'm super excited about the additional information and resources that I'm going to get to share as the Black Breast Cancer Alliance unfolds, because this is truly going to be a ministry and a generational legacy that you and I, Ricki, will be able to see just the beginnings of the impact of the work. But we know that this is going to go on beyond us because of this alliance, because of this house that you're creating. While we are going through the steps, will become a home, and it will become a home that when individuals come in, not only do they get what they need, but they know it's always a place where they can come back to. Yeah, it's always a place where they can find that comfort and that love, and that is what's so truly special about you leading the charge, because you have that personality. You exude love and anointing and peace, and I'm just gonna live. I'm gonna live, but I'm giving of myself selflessly, but I'm smart in how I do it, because not only is it gonna bless me, but I get to bless others in the process. And that's you. And I remember asking you, so, when we were talking about this show, so what unique information could you teach my audience? And you replied, don't wait until you are told you're going to die to find your purpose. Yeah. Where does that statement stem from? Don't wait until you are told you're going to die to find your purpose. How can a person move to find their purpose if they don't feel like they're pressed, if they're just kind of lackadaisical, if they're just thinking, you know what, life is good, I got it, I'm managing it, and you're trying to tell them, don't wait until that split second happens. Right. Life as you knew it is completely gone. But where does that statement come from? Were you there before?
Well, we are such super women. All right. Yeah. So Breasties are the superwoman badasses, but before I was a superwoman, I was a superwoman, right? We do everything. We take care of everybody. I was the breadwinner for my family. I was the rainmaker for my company. My biggest line was, I got it. I got you. I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. I got you. I say that all the time. How many times have you said that to everybody? And how many times has a Black woman, given her last dollar to her kid at the expense of paying her rent or her mortgage? Right?
Absolutely.
We do it. We all do it. We take care of everybody. We are just crazy.
And yes.
We're crazy. And the year I got sick, I was pulled in. I felt like an octopus with like 20 arms that were just being pulled on. Mm-hmm. And once you sort of create this dependency, it just festers, right?
It does.
We create dependence.
We do.
Create them. And it's almost like, too, when you hear the flight attendant say, put the mask on yourself first. We never put that mask on.
We don't. You're so right.
Jump right in and give whatever the person needs, whoever it is, whether it's the mother, the parents, the kids, whatever, right? I used to think stress was for wimps. Like, who has time for stress? What do you mean stressed out? That's not a concept for me. I got shit to do. Sorry, I have something to do. But I can't be stressed out and take a rest. I don't have time. So because we're crazy, so you need to take that rest. You need to take that moment. You need to go sit on that beach. You need to take that walk every day. Every day. If it's for a minute, 5 minutes, whatever it is, driving in your car, blast the music. You know, put on your favorite gospel song or any song and dance. Like, you need to take the minute and think about yourself. Don't wait till you're sick to have to do that. Don't wait till you're running out of time. You need to take that minute. And when you take that minute, it'll eventually grow to a few minutes. And you're like, this is pretty good. I'm talking to God. I have peace in my life, whatever. And I know a lot of, I watch my daughter. She's about to turn 35. She's got the 1 and the 3-year-old. And with the whole COVID thing, they're working at home. The kids are all over the place. Is that my friend on Zoom, Mom? And she can't get away. I said, she got sick over the weekend. I said, you need to go leave your house for 20 minutes every day, even if you're just going to go sit in your car. But you have got to find some peace. You got to find peace, and then you'll find your purpose. But you have to quiet your mind, quiet your body, quiet your presence. And I'll tell you my filter for stress. Can I say a bad word? So
please go right ahead.
So my nurse navigator was great. And she said, when I went to my first meeting, she said, you are so stressed out, Ricki. I'm like, I don't believe in stress. How do I know I'm stressed? How do I know? She said, well, how many times a day do you either think or say the word asshole? And I never really said it out loud, right. But in my head, that was the name for both my husband and my business partner, usually with a couple of adjectives. Right. All day long, like hundreds of times all day long. That's what I call them in my head. And so I had to get rid of all of those people.
Okay, I don't know if the audience caught. She said her husband. I just wanted to, because I learned that term every time I hear you say it, it catches me because I forget. That's the perfect terminology. Yeah, husband.
30 years of husband, and I love him to death. He's the father of my grandchildren. I talk to him. We go to the butterfly park with the kids. All good, but I just don't want him to live in my house.
Correct.
But I think I had to learn that. I not only had to get rid of the cancer in my body, but I had to get rid of all the cancers in my life. And we talked about earlier, like sometimes, or some of the friends are in, some of them are out. You really just have to, and you can still love them from afar, but not in your world, not in your daily presence. So figure out who the people are that are lifting you up versus who the people are that are bringing you down. And the people that are lifting you because they came from God.
Absolutely.
Then you got to let them go. And it's okay. They'll be fine.
That's right. And so will you.
And so will you.
And so will you.
And it's a little hard sometimes because they're pulling, especially if you've created a dependency, which we all do, and all of a sudden that train is gone, you got to let it go because you're going to kill yourself. I mean, I had to find that piece that is non-negotiable. I had to.
Correct. So but it was in that settling. Yeah. And in those quiet moments that you were able to not only hear from God so that you can now hear his plan and purpose for your life, but it was also during those quiet moments that he was able to speak to you and show you where you needed to let go, where you needed to let somebody in, where you needed to understand, okay, you're not quite out, but you're not suited for me for this purpose, and vice versa. So, there were some people that didn't necessarily go out, but they got categorized into a different category. So, they're the people that I need to call on immediate, that I know are going to be there. I thought you were that person, but you're not. But there is a purpose that we serve in each other's lives. But now I'm able to understand just what you're able to give and bring to me, and then how I'm able to satisfy a need for you. But like you said, because we as Black women, we're just constantly, you come into our lives, we got you. We got you. We got you. And we just keep moving. And even with our diagnosis, I don't know, we're even more driven because it was like, okay, no. Right. I now have to add on all of this treatment, but I'm doing the treatment and all that other stuff. And I may be sleeping and I may be tired, but I still got to do this. And I'm going to do it because I'm not going to miss out on these opportunities. I'm going to be present. I am going to take it all in. And we find ourselves going in so many different directions until, like you said, you will end up killing yourself because you're not taking time to just slow down. It's
Yeah.
24 hours in a day. You
Right.
don't get any more. I don't care
Right.
how close you are with the Lord
Right.
and how many miracles he wrought in your life. One of the miracles he will not wrought is adding on extra hours to your day to get stuff done. And so
Right.
therefore, you need to step back and realize he never intended for me to have an overwhelmed life. An
Right.
abundant life, and that with joy, where he has a plan that we will be healthy and he will prosper us. So in knowing that, whoa, I need to slow down and take a step back,
Right.
listen and get some direction, because creating dependence and enabling people is not blessing them and it's not
It's not
blessing
fun.
you.
And then,
It's just helping in that immediate moment because they need
right.
help, and it's like, okay,
Right.
boom, 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 I'll do it. But in the long run,
But
they got to
it's
learn how to
not
handle some
blessing
stuff on
them.
their own.
Yeah, it is not blessing them. And
Not at
I
all.
learned that it is not blessing that. In fact, you're blocking their blessing.
Yes, you are.
You're blocking their blessing because while you're trying to work on them or while you're trying to take care of them, God can't do the work he needs to do on them.
That's
And
right.
you gotta let go and let God, because just as much as God needs to work on me, God
Mm-hmm.
needs to work on my husband.
There
And
you go.
and I was blocking that blessing because, and I really do think he's better off because he could find God.
Yes.
When I let go, he at least went in that right direction.
There you go.
But you know what I tell people all the time, Dr. Shree? I tell people get a dog because I find my best moments walking my dog.
Wow.
Like you have to, walking is the best medicine to me. And that's how we met.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
That's right.
Walking clears your head. You see God in the trees and the flowers and the snow and the rain, whatever. And when you have a dog, you can't have an excuse not to walk. Because the
Correct.
dog has to pee even if it's raining or snowing or 20 below or whatever it is. You got to take the dog out, whether out for
Correct.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But I really believe that when I see a woman that's totally stressed out, you need to buy a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like eternal toddlers. You can't get rid of them. They're like, difficult, but still you get unconditional love and it forces you to walk and see God.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? I was just thinking before I got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about when you were talking about spending some time alone, and we were talking about creating dependence and enabling people. When you and I would go in and I got you, I got it handled, or what have you.
Right, exactly.
We were changing people's circumstances because they were in a situation, they had an issue. We were there to solve it, take care of it.
Fixer.
But like I said, fixer, exactly. We were doing the Olivia Pope thing. I'm coming
Right.
in and I'm handling the situation.
Right.
But what I said earlier is true. And that is that God is more interested in changing you than he is your circumstances. So when you and I and others like us come in and we change people's circumstances, one of the reasons why we're not being a blessing to them is God doesn't have the opportunity to come in and work on that individual because he wants to change them. He's not the circumstances. So we're always settling and fixing their circumstances.
Right.
They don't have an opportunity to develop that personal relationship with him and allow him to come in and change them the way he intends to. So, a lot of times we just have to take a step back and realize that what we think we may be doing for good is not good.
It's not
It's not good. And when you step back and realize that, that kind of helps you curtail how quick you are to jump in and fix things and do things and create more work on you. And that's one of the reasons why it becomes so heavy on us. It was never our burden to take on. It wasn't. And God sees down the line, okay, life is going to happen to you, my love, and you taking on all of this other extra stuff now.
Right.
And this stuff is coming down the line. That's not it. That's not what I intended for you to do. But what I do have for you, I got for you, and it's going to happen.
Right.
Because I'm interested in working through you and for you. And so now you've taken on this extra stuff. Now your role and your journey is going to be more difficult because you took on more than what you were intended. So it's just learning and using that knowledge and that wisdom to guide your choices. Now, you said something about peace. And baby, that peace that passeth all understanding. I once heard you say, you said it earlier, that your peace is non-negotiable. What's the story behind that?
So I fought to find it, and I had to let go of these dependencies that I created. And once I found it, there's nothing like it. And that's where I find the space to talk to God. And, you know, this morning I was on my paddleboard at 6 a.m. watching the sunrise, talking
Oh,
about it. So, but it's non-negotiable. And I will hang up the phone. I will leave the room. I'll see you. Bye. I got to go. I'm out. Drop the mic, whatever. Situation. And my filter is the asshole. If I feel like, if I even like, you know, I'm out. So, but I know the value of that piece. And I know for a lot of us, it's so hard to find it because we're so wrapped up in our daily lives and all the demands and all the dependencies we've created, but you have to find it. You have to find it, whether it's for a minute, 5 minutes, just walk outside by yourself. Just walk outside by yourself. And you know when you can like exhale and just take that deep breath and just let it all go just for a minute, if that's all you've got. But once you sort of feel that peace, you're going to find a way. It's almost like a drug. You're going to find a way to get it again. You're going to find a way to get it again.
I was going to ask you, how can we secure our peace? And I believe what you're saying is you have to learn and find what works for you. It may be going outside. It may be going for a walk. It may be going downstairs, getting on your treadmill, putting in your, you know, your earbuds and you're just walking and listening to your favorite music, or maybe turning on, you know, telling Alexa to play her thing and you just dancing in your living room.
Michael Jackson, whatever.
Exactly. But it is so true. You need to find it, because without peace, Ricki, every decision you make is not the best made decision, because when you are anxious, when you are full, and when you are in turmoil, when you have to make a decision, what some may seem very simple to make, you're not coming with the right information because your senses are so heightened. So you may be short, you may be quick, you may have a great deal that you could be a participant in, but you're just going to say no because you're so full, as opposed to when you have peace, you're able to step back and do some more analytical, and be calm about it. And so having your peace is not only so important for your physical well-being, because we know physiologically when you have that peace, your sympathetic and parasympathetic system, it chills out. It allows the organs to do what they need to do, the oxygen to go where it needs to go. So it's a beautiful thing from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint, all of your relationships at work, at home, in a marriage, your neighbor, in a support group, if you don't have that, you are always making decisions and speaking on edge. And that's not a good place to be, because mistakes can happen, wrong things can be said. Yeah.
Well, you upset yourself. The other way I think about it too, and this is from when I was sick, is making decisions to choose life. To choose life. So, and in those, you know, it was okay, do I do the chemo or not? Or do they take the time to, you know, so, but you have to choose life in everything that you do. So you know when something's not right. You're not choosing life. You're choosing something else. And choosing life makes you know it's of God, right? Because you know it's the right thing to do. And choosing life could put some other people away or hurt, or not hurt, but upset somebody else. But you're doing this for you. And it's really between you and God.
Yes.
But do things to choose life. So, you know, when I was sick, I was a little crazy. I got a husband, I got divorced. I quit my business partners. I started my own company between my 3rd and 4th rounds of chemo. I sold my big house in the suburbs and I moved to the beach, like while I was on chemo. And it was like, are you sure, Ricki, you know, you're doing well? I was sure. I was choosing life.
Yes.
And I had to let everything else get out of the way.
Mm-hmm. And how did that fare for you? Because that's powerful statement. You're sharing that you made significant, huge decisions that came with you first choosing life. It wasn't, I chose those and I lived. You made the choice first. So the decisions that came after that, they weren't easy. So, you know, let's be cool. You're looking at Ricki and you're hearing her voice and you're like, oh my gosh, she sounds great. She sounds so strong. Boom, she just did it. But let me tell you, I know when she made that decision to choose life, decisions to let go of the business partners and the husband and to sell a home, those were not easy decisions, but they were easier because you had a peace about the choice that you made for you.
For me, right.
And then things did they fall into place? I mean, sometimes making all those decisions, sometimes things can fall into place and it works out well. Sometimes things don't fall as neatly as we thought they would. But looking at you now, were all those the best decisions for you to make?
The best,
Yeah,
the best.
you
and you know what? Not everything fell into place. You know, I have 2 daughters, you know, they're, you know, very close to their dad, and we had to go through that. But you know what, looking back now, everybody has a more peaceful life because of it. And it was I made the right decisions for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little painful during the time, but I think we were all scared because the doctor had 2 years to live.
Correct.
So kind of like thinking I'm a little crazy, but we thought I was gonna die. So then it was like, okay, well, she's gonna die, so it's okay. We can like go with her. You know, I don't know. But I think that fear was there, so they kind of let it happen.
Yes.
Now, you know, even Haley, my baby daughter, her nickname is Hailstorm. So you can.
Okay, I can imagine.
You know,
I got one of those too.
Actually, my clone, so I can't really say too much. But she's about to turn 27. But she said, "Mom, thank you for what you did. Like, you know, thank you for what you did. It was the right thing to do for all of us."
Wow.
So, and I now watch my older daughter, who's like in a marriage and with her kids.
Children.
And I watch her do the things that I never did in my marriage that are the right things to do. I try to point that out to her, like, this is where I could have done better. This is where it didn't work for me. So I try to coach her without getting too involved, because they don't want to, you know, you guys say, right. But she's dealing with things that I dealt with in a different way, and I'm so proud of that.
Wonderful.
You know, so.
Wow. So you can make wrong choices, be awakened,
right,
that those were the wrong choices,
right.
And then have an opportunity to coach and congratulate, you know, your children, your offspring, right. And say, you know what, kudos. I mean, because that's maturity on your part, and you acknowledging to her the difference is something that is going to always and forever stay on her mind. It's drawing you closer, but that's also something that now she's going to make sure she reinforces with her children. So again, we can break those generational curses, right. Of, you know, this is not going right. I don't know what is happening with my light. I got a funky disco thing going on. Okay. But that's maturity on your part and maturity on hers as well. Now, before we end, because this time I cannot believe we've come to an end of another show. It's always that way. God has blessed me with some fantastic guests. Is there anything that you would like to share with the audience? That's one. And then 2, let them know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah. I mean, I would just share what I've been saying. Find your peace. It's non-negotiable. Find your peace. Find your purpose. Give yourself some space. We don't have to do everything every day, you know. And when you think about there's 24 hours in a day, think of it, really, there's only like 23 hours and 45 minutes. So there's 15 minutes just for you, wherever you take them. Not sleeping, right?
Right, exactly.
Not sleeping. But yeah, and you can find me, check out my new Facebook page. The website will be up soon, but it's touchbbca.org.
Wonderful.
Touch BBCA on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And we are going to do much work. We have so much work to do on Black breast cancer, but I know it's all there, and I know we're going to do it and do great things. And thank you so much for having me. And also my Twitter is @RickiDove, RICKIDOVE. Or reach out to me on Twitter, whatever, and I'll talk to you back. And if you follow me, I'll remind you to check your breasts. Check your breasts, check your breasts. I know you have a pair that you love, so check them every month. And you know, just live your life, live your best life every day. Choose life.
Choose life.
Choose life. If it's, you know, if you got to have the ice cream cone, eat it, but know it, you know, do it with a choosing life.
Amazing. So I'm going to decree and declare right now that my peace is non-negotiable, and I choose life. Thank you so much, Ricki Fairley. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in again. Until next time.